Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Sarah Football. If you're new here, you know what to do, subscribe and hit the notification bell. 2023 African Cup of Nations is over and Ivory Coast were crowned winners. Today we're talking about the team of the tournament. A 11-man squad has been released, including the coach of the tournament has been released by CAF, Confederation of African Football. We're talking about that today. We'll also talk about the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustapha Yussif. He has submitted his reports to the parliament, to the Ghana parliament, and explain or review how much Ghana spent in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. So before we get into it, subscribe if you haven't and hit that notification bell. All right, we jump right into it. The first thing we'll talk about today is the team of the tournament for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. You know, the Ivory Coast, host nation Ivory Coast beats Nigeria 2-1 in that thrilling encounter, that final everyone has been talking about since Ivory Coast won the tournament. So without wasting much time, let's get into it. Ron Williams is the goalkeeper of the tournament and automatically gets a spot in the team of the tournament. The centre back, we have Nigerian captain William Troost Ekong, who has been instrumental in Nigeria, or who was instrumental in Nigeria's quest for the AFCON, also scored in the finals and scored 3 goals total in the tournament. He is in the team of the tournament. Then we have Chancel Mbemba, that is the DR Congo centre back who helps them reach the semi-finals of the tournament. Then we have Ola Aino, the Nigerian right wing back, who was instrumental in Nigeria's journey to the final of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Then we have Ivorian left back Ghislaine Konan, who has been very good and solid the back for Ivory Coast as they emerge victorious in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Then in the midfield, we have Jean Seri, who brought his experience to his team, controlled the midfield, and helped them win the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. We also have Frank Kessie, who was very instrumental in Ivory Coast winning the tournament. Then in the midfield, the last person we have there in the midfield is Teboso Mukwana. Teboso Mukwana, he is very good for South Africa and helped them get to the semi-finals of the tournament, scored important goals against Morocco and also against Nigeria. That penalty he converted but unfortunately missed the penalty shootout. Then the attack, we have Yaon Visa, that's the DR Congo player who plays for Brentford, who was instrumental and helped DR Congo get to the semi-final stages of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Then Emilio Nsue, the highest goal scorer in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations with 5 goals and the only player to score a hat-trick in this edition of the Africa Cup of Nations. Then lastly, we have Ademola Lookman, the Nigerian star player who was instrumental, scored important goals and helped Nigeria go far in the tournament. Then for the coach of the tournament, we have the Ivorian coach. MS Faye is the coach of the tournament. I would like to know your thoughts. What do you think about the team of the tournament? Actually, I expected Frank Onyeka to be there. Yes, Frank Onyeka was, very good in the midfield for Nigeria. I was expecting Frank Onyeka to be there, but I feel that the players who have been feeded there, Mokrena, Seri, and Kessie, they deserve to be there. So I wouldn't say much, but I expected Frank Onyeka to be there. That's my opinion. I'd like to know yours. Which player do you think is missing from the team of the tournament released by CAF? All right, then we move over to Ghana football. Yes, we move over to Ghana football. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustapha Yussif, delivered a statement to the parliament today on Ghana's performance at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. I'm going to give you key points he stated, or the key things in the report he presented at the parliament today. The first thing he said was that Ghana budgeted $8.5 million for the tournament. 5 million out of that 8.5 was released by the Ministry of Finance. Ghana spent $3,070,000 in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, despite the fact that they went out of the tournament in the group stages. They spent almost $3.1 million in the Africa Cup of Nations, mostly spent on per diems, flights, medicals, equipment, logistics, and hospitality. That is what the Minister of Youth and Sports said the 3 million was spent on. Then he said after those expenditures, they returned the remaining $2 million to the Ministry of Finance. Now, this is an interesting part where everyone has been talking about. The minister also stated that MTN gave them an additional $400,000, which he said contributed immensely in complementing government expenditure. He didn't give details of that expenditure or what that money was used for or what exactly the money was spent on. So that's it. A lot of people have been talking about how much Ghana is spending in this tournament. They wonder if that money could be spent somewhere else in Ghana football to develop talent or beautify the nature of our pitches in Ghana, or channel somewhere that will actually help in the development of Ghana football instead of going to tournaments to waste all this amount of money. People are saying Ghana is broke, Ghana is this, but we have $3 million to spend on the group stages of the Africa Cup of Nations. Ghana spent $2 million in the last AFCON and they left the group stages. This year is $3 million they spent and they also left in the group stage. So $5 million have been spent in the last two AFCON, yet Ghana couldn't make it out of the group stages. Makes you think, yes, makes you think, if can this money or should this money be channeled elsewhere? Will it help if the government or the people in charge of football channel this money, these resources, these funds elsewhere to help grow football as a whole or beautify the pitches we have in Ghana? Because if you see the nature of the pitches we have in Ghana, you cry, you weep, because a lot needs to be done to take our football to where it belongs. So that is it. We talked about the CAF team of the tournament, where 3 Nigerians were included in the CAF team of the tournament, 2 South Africans and 3 Ivorians, 1 DR Congo and 1 Equatorial Guinea player, 2 DR Congo players and 1 Equatorial Guinea player. And also talk about the coach of the tournament, Ms. Fair. That's the Ivorian coach who actually led his team as an interim coach to the title. I'm definitely sure they are going to make him their permanent coach after the tournament. Also talked about Mustapha Yussif, the sports minister, who gave his report to the parliament about the expenditure and how Ghana performed at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. So that is all I have for you today. I'd like to know your thoughts on what Yussif Mustapha rendered or delivered to the parliament and everything he had to say about the expenditure and how much Ghana received and returned after the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Subscribe if you haven't. As usual, my name is Clinton Lutu and I was your host for today. Subscribe if you haven't and hit the notification bell. Till next time, guys. Goodbye.